Hello guys, welcome back. Today is the day I'm gonna attempt to change my Suzuki DRZ 400 SM, the Supermoto version, into, well, the off-road version, which is the S model essentially. Some of you will ask me why I want to change the awesome DRZ 400 SM, the Supermoto. Why do I want to take it off-road? Well, I've had my fun on the Supermoto. I had the DRZ on and off for over 4, 5, maybe 6 years, and I had my fun on the road. And the time has come. I want to try some green laning, some off-roading, and it's essentially a perfect buy for it. I know the suspension is slightly different than the S model, but it's close enough for what I'll be doing on the green lanes. It's more than good enough because my skill level is nowhere near to the level that I can, fully exploit the S version. So the SM with some off-road wheels, it'll do just fine. So there she is. That's my 400 SM, still sitting on the 17-inch Supermoto wheels with Supermoto tires and rims. And that's essentially the main difference I'm going to do today. A couple of other bits and bobs, but yeah, I need to change not just the tires, but the entire wheels. And I've got them already prepared right here. 21 front and 18 on the back. Now these are not brand new wheels. I bought them second hand, but they are pretty decent condition. I've got, again, not brand new tires, courtesy of a good friend of mine. He wasn't using these tires anymore, so they fit perfectly well on my rims. Right guys, so the main difference is the wheels. They're not only bigger, originally they're 17-inch on the SM, this is 21, that's the front. But the main difference is the disc brake, the rotor. The rotors are smaller on the S version, which these wheels originally come from. But other than that, they're exactly the same. The wheel spacing is the hub, everything is the same, the speedo mounts the same way. But the rotors are bigger, so I got a second pair of rotors, so I can quickly bolt them on and have two sets of wheels. So in case I want to go back on the road, I just swap the wheels without messing about with changing the rotors, because that's extra work, extra effort. You shouldn't be reusing the bolts, yada yada yada. So I've got two sets of wheels, front and back, rotors. I bought them second hand as well. Good quality rotors, straight as you like it. Bolt them on, and that should be straight swap, both front and back. Just remember, switch the disc brakes, because front and back, they are smaller on the S version. SM takes a bigger one, so you don't need to mess about changing the caliper. I don't think it's even possible to change the forks and all that stuff. Cheapest option, get the second pair of SM rotors, and bolt them straight onto the S wheels, front and back. Should be straight swap. Let's get it done. I don't want to teach you how to suck eggs over here, guys, but it's a fairly straightforward procedure to removing the wheel. Obviously, take off the disc caliper, loosen up the pinch bolts, loosen it up on the side of a nut, but leave them tight on the other end, on the opposite side, just to hold that in place, because otherwise you need to find some kind of device to hold it in place. But if you leave them tight, then you can crack open the nut on the other end, which comes loose. Then you can loosen up those pinch bolts and remove the axle. Quite simple, right? So I've got a bike on a stand, jacked up a little bit, but as an extra precaution, I use my old trick. I got just a strap and strap it to the kind of the support beams, just in case. I know it's a light bike, but if that falls on my ass and I'm underneath it, I don't want to be stuck in a situation, because you never know, especially that I live alone. There's nobody in the house, there's nobody in the garage to help me. I always have my phone on my ass, just in case I need to call for help. But hopefully, taking an extra precaution like this, I should be okay to work on it. Let's do this. correct torque settings, guys. I cannot stress enough how important that is. I learned it the hard way some time ago. And just like this, we got fully functional 21-inch knobbly front tire on my DRZ 400 SM. That is a Continental TKC80, a great off-road tire, very fucking soft. It will last you less than 2,000 miles easy. But yeah, let's see how it's gonna perform with this bad boy on it. And remember to pump that front brake before you go anywhere near any kind of riding conditions. There you go, nice and solid. Let's do the rear. Now with the rear wheel, obviously I've got the same size disc rotors, brake rotors, but the sprocket, I didn't buy the spare sprocket, and I will buy it later stage, but I'm going to use this one, bolted back on the off-road wheel, and the reason for that is I don't want to change a chain. It's a good chain, it was nearly new, and the front sprocket as well, and I know it's probably not the right gearing for the off-road, but for what I'm going to be doing, learning for my skill, it will do just fine. When I experiment with that ratio, which I believe is 15:41, I think, I will see if I can do 14 and 44, 14 front, 44 back. I'll see with different ratios, but obviously I'll get a different chain, change a front sprocket as well, and have two separate set of sprocket and chain just in case I need to swap the wheels over. But for the time being, I'm going to reuse this one, bolt it on that wheel right over there, and fit it back here. Let's do this. Now this is the moment of truth. Is it going to fit? The reason I'm wondering that because this is a 150 rear tire. The DRZ spec'd up with 140 and the Supermoto tire is 140, and all the manual states 140 for the rear, but I've done some research and people say 150 will fit, and I took a measurement in between here and 150 should fit just fine. There shouldn't be any chain rub. It should fit just fine. I fitted the 150 tire on the rim. It wasn't the easiest thing to do, but I've managed to do that, and the question is whether it's going to fit over there. Well, let's find out. And there we have it, guys. The 150 rear tire fits just fine on the DRZ 400, whether that's SM or S version or even E. I believe the swing arm and all the specs are exactly the same. And actually I've got quite a bit of room over here between the chain and the tire anyway. Obviously the chain is not tightened up yet, but as you can see there is good gap over there, and a definitely good gap on this end. You can see that there's definitely no risk of that rubbing in anywhere. And yeah, we're on new wheels. We are on the new wheels, new rubbers on the road. Another important thing I want to do to kind of make that SM off-road ready is to replace that rather small and thin skid plate and these plastic kind of covers. They sit right over there. They're very cosmetic. They don't provide any protection whatsoever, maybe from the wind, but they go in, and I've got a rather beefy skid plate. It's not brand new, it's second hand, but it's made of 4 or even 5 mil aluminium, and it's proper heavy duty. Made by a company called AdTech in UK, but I didn't buy it brand new, I bought it second hand. I paid half the price for it. I think that's a really good score, so I'm gonna fit that right in. 4 bolts, 5 minutes, and job well done. This should provide much better protection than them plastic parts. Not only protects properly the bottom of the engine, but it wraps around nicely around the sides, which will provide a protection to the water pump and some other components on the other side as well. Nearly there. And one last thing I fitted off camera is the proper handguards, solid aluminium handguards that will protect the levers from completely snapping off, when no doubt I'm gonna drop it somewhere off the road. So that in my eyes is a must. Rock and roll. I'm gonna take it for a spin and see how she handles on those tires. It's not gonna be much fun on the tarmac, but that's not the whole point. Let's do this.